The Galaxy Council, the oldest, strongest power in the universe. On this day, they met to decide the fate of a small, messy planet called Earth. The vote was simple: isolation, exile, silence. One by one, every light flashed yes. They expected fear. They expected tears. But the human delegate did none of these things. He did one thing that chilled the council to the bone. The air in the Galaxy Council Hall was thick and cold. It was a place made of polished black stone and cold, bright light. Hundreds of alien leaders from many different stars sat in a giant circle. They looked important, strong, and very, very old. In the center stood Elder Krell, the oldest and most powerful of them all. He was huge, covered in thick, dark scales. Elder Krell did not look happy. He was looking at a small figure standing alone on the cold floor. This figure was a human, Ambassador Lin, the only representative from Earth. Krell started the final vote. The matter of Sol system known as Earth, he began. We have seen their history. They are too fast, too wild, too emotional. They cannot be part of the galaxy's peace. The vote is simple: isolation and exile. We will block them from the stars. One by one, the mighty leaders cast their votes. A strong light flashed yes on every screen. The Vray agreed. The Xylos agreed. The giant machines of the tech hive agreed. Every single voice in the Great Hall said yes. Earth was out. The vote was unanimous. This was the moment everyone waited for. Usually the losing race would shout. They would cry. They would beg for mercy. But the small human, Ambassador Lin, did none of these things. He did not move. He did not speak. Elder Krell watched him closely. Lin slowly picked up his small bag. He looked up at the hundreds of eyes watching him. And then, Ambassador Lin smiled. It was not a happy smile. It was cold, quiet, and very strange. It was a smile that did not fear anything. It was a smile of acceptance. Lin simply bowed once, a quick, polite motion, and then he walked out. The heavy door closed behind him. The hall was silent. Elder Krell felt a small, cold feeling in his chest. Why did the humans smile, he thought. Why did they accept defeat so easily? Krell quickly shook the feeling away. He stood tall and looked at the others. It is done, Krell announced. Humans are small. They are simple. They think too much about feelings and not enough about power. Our isolation order will be carried out by a simple group of ships. We will send fleet purity. This is not a war, it is a police action. The council agreed. They were proud of their decision. They felt strong. They believed the humans were weak, disorganized, and now, finally, silenced. Far away, a small group of highly advanced ships, Fleet Purity, jumped through space towards the Sol system. The captain, Zydos, was bored. He spoke to his officers. This is a waste of fuel. Humans will see our ships, and they will surrender. This will be the easiest duty of my life. Zydos and his crew were confident. They saw themselves as bringing order to a messy, small planet. Fleet Purity quickly reached the outer edge of the Sol system. The crew looked at their sensors. Nothing. No large military ships, no patrol craft, no radio calls. The entire system was silent. See? Captain Zydos laughed. They have already run away. They are scared. Advance the fleet. We will send the final surrender message when we are close enough to see their world. The large alien ships moved forward, ready to win their easy victory. Just as the lead ship crossed the invisible line of the system's boundary, the ship's computer screens began to flash red. The captain's communication device made a loud, old-fashioned beep-beep sound. It was an incoming message. Not a video call, not a complex data stream. Just a very low-tech, simple text message. Captain Zydos quickly read the screen. The message was simple. It was in the human language, English. We accepted. Prepare. The captain frowned. Who sent this? Where was it from? Before he could ask, his sensor officer shouted, his voice cracking with fear. Captain, sensors are going crazy. We have millions of contacts. They are small, too small to be ships, but they are moving towards us. They are moving too fast. Captain Zydos looked at the sensor map. Millions of red dots like a storm of fireflies were rushing out from the inner system, heading straight for fleet purity. This was not a fleet, this was something else, this was chaos. The moment the strange message arrived, chaos began. Captain Zydos looked at the millions of incoming contacts. His main battle computer said they were trash. The sensors are wrong, Zydos yelled. They are small fighters. Fire the main cannons. Lock onto the largest groups. His weapons officer tried. Captain, the system cannot lock. They are moving too randomly. They are not following any flight path. Wait. The computer says they are not metal. They are debris. The ships coming towards them were not shiny, high-tech war machines. They were old, broken satellites. They were pieces of space junk. They were old mining drones with simple, crude engines stuck to their backs. They were chunks of rock wrapped in solar panels. The humans had taken everything that was already in space and turned it into a weapon. They were a swarm of junk. The alien ships of Fleet Purity were designed to fight other large, organized ships. Their weapons were too powerful and too slow to hit tiny, non-metal junk. Their targeting systems got confused by the randomness and the sheer number of objects. The first wave of the swarm hit the lead alien ship. There was no big explosion, no flash of light, just a terrible sound of grinding metal. The tiny, high-speed pieces of debris smashed into the ship's advanced armor and shields. The damage was surgical and humiliating. A single fast-moving chunk of satellite hit the sensor array of the main ship, making it blind. A mining drone smashed into a communications dish, making the ship mute. Another piece of junk hit a shield generator just right, causing the energy field to stutter and fail. The alien ships were being beaten up by garbage. Captain Zydos was in shock. His perfect, high-tech fleet was being defeated by basic physics. A small object moving extremely fast can do huge damage. The humans did not build better ships. They just used speed and volume. They made a weapon out of their own waste. The humans did not fight with honor. They fought to win no matter how dirty or messy the method. After a short, violent attack, Captain Zydos ordered a full retreat. His ships were not destroyed, but they were crippled, shamed, and full of holes. They limped back into deep space, defeated by a trash storm. The news of the defeat hit the Galaxy Council like a physical blow. In the Great Hall, Elder Krell was furious. He knew this was not just a military failure, it was a huge embarrassment. He had called the humans weak, and they had just defeated his strong fleet with garbage. This is what happens when you let simple creatures live too long, Krell roared at his empty desk. He felt a cold knot of fear. The other, smaller worlds in the council were now whispering, if humans can beat Krell's fleet, maybe Krell is not so strong. Krell decided the humans needed a lesson. He called upon the most powerful ships in the council's main military. He created a new force, Strike Group Vengeance. These ships were bigger. They had new special weapons designed to destroy small things in the air. They were built to clean up the swarm tactics of the humans. Commander Vex, who led the new strike group, stood before Krell. Elder Krell, he said, full of pride, we will go to Sol. We will not be humiliated by junk. We will burn their system. Strike Group Vengeance, a massive, powerful fleet, moved towards Earth. Commander Vex was calm. He knew he had the answer. His fleet's area denial weapons would simply turn any flying garbage into dust before it got close. The fleet reached the Sol system. Vex looked at his sensors. Silence again. No swarm, no radio message. Good, Vex thought. They have learned to fear the big ships. Vex looked at his map. To save a few days of travel, he ordered his fleet to take a shortcut through a large, dense asteroid belt. It was a common, easy route. His ship started flying through the thick collection of rocks. It was quiet, dark, and fast. Commander Vex smiled, thinking of his easy victory. Then, his eyes caught something on his main screen. Not a ship. Not a rock. The space itself was twisting. In the deep, dark area of the asteroid belt, the black void suddenly seemed to bend and stretch like a rubber band being pulled too hard. The ship's navigation lights went wild. Commander Vex felt a cold, hard pressure on his body. His communications officer screamed, "Commander, we are reading impossible gravity shifts. Our engines are failing. The space is attacking us." Strike Group Vengeance was flying into a trap much worse than garbage. The humans had not built better lasers. They had not built bigger bombs. They had learned to use the rules of the universe against their enemy. The bending space was not natural. It was being controlled by hidden human devices. Commander Vex watched in horror as his powerful, huge ships began to tear themselves apart, not from enemy fire, but from the G-forces created by the changing space. The small, hidden human devices, maybe old power plants or modified solar collectors, were throwing off tiny, crazy gravity fields. These fields were not strong enough to crush a ship, but they were strong enough to make the ship's own speed and inertia destroy it. One ship was suddenly pushed out of its path and smashed into a large asteroid. Another ship, trying to turn away from the danger, was hit by an invisible force that pushed its front and back at different speeds, ripping the large metal body into pieces. This was insane fighting. The Council had strict rules about using unstable physics technology. It was too dangerous, too unpredictable, and too messy. The humans did not care about the rules. They only cared about one thing: winning. They were using forbidden technology in a crude, violent, and highly effective way. Commander Vex felt a terrible sickness in his stomach. He saw his officers' faces. They were not afraid of death, they were afraid of madness. "They are not fighting fair!" Vex screamed, tears welling up in his eyes. "This is not war, this is murder by physics." Vex was forced to give the order to retreat. His fleet was badly damaged, broken, and running away from empty space. The humans had defeated his high-tech group with an invisible, unpredictable force. The news of this second, much worse defeat spread like a fire across the whole Galaxy Council. Many small worlds were now in full panic. They were no longer afraid of Earth. They were afraid of Elder Krell because his mistakes were making the humans angry. While the chaos was at its peak, a strong, clear broadcast cut through all the galaxy's communication channels. It was a live feed from Earth. On the screen, Ambassador Lin appeared again. He looked exactly the same as he did in the council hall, calm, polite, and with that terrible cold smile. "Galaxy Council," Lin said, his voice simple and clear. "You called us a problem when you voted. You called us a lesson when you attacked. You have now learned the lesson. It is a costly one." For the next 30 seconds, the screen showed the silent, horrifying footage of Strike Group Vengeance being torn apart by invisible forces in the asteroid belt. Lin returned. "We do not like to be told what to do. We do not like to be put in a corner. You have pushed humanity too far. Now we are pushing back." He ended the broadcast. Elder Krell watched this on his monitor. He was shaking with rage and fear. His power was melting away. He knew that if he did not win this final fight, his reign and the Council's power would be over forever. Krell made his final, most dangerous decision. He ordered every single warship, every defense vessel, and every fighting crew to join together. He put all his power into one last massive force, the Grand Fleet. "This is not an isolation order," Krell told his new Supreme Commander. "This is a total war. Go to Sol System. Destroy everything. Leave nothing alive." The Grand Fleet, a huge, slow-moving force of thousands of ships, started its long journey toward Earth. Krell was sure this was too big to fail. Meanwhile, back in the Sol System, the human commander, a tired-looking woman named Anya, looked at a map showing the Grand Fleet's slow approach. She looked at her small group of special hidden ships. These ships were fast, quiet, and armed with the new unstable physics technology. Anya gave a small, quiet order to her officers. She smiled, but her smile was hard and serious. "They think we will defend Earth. They think we are scared, and we will wait for them here," she said. "That was their final mistake. We are not defending, we are attacking. Set a course not for them, but for their home." The small, quiet human ships moved fast and silently. not waiting for the Grand Fleet but moving away from Earth, heading straight into the deep galaxy. The Grand Fleet was slow. It was heavy. It was loud. It was coming to Sol system to destroy everything. But the small, fast human ships were already gone. They were using the unstable, space-bending technology to jump past the slow-moving Grand Fleet. They did not care about the rules of safe travel. They were on a mission. The human ships did not stop to fight the Grand Fleet. They did not attack their supply lines. They went straight to the heart of the Council's power. They went to the homeworlds of the Elder Leaders, especially the grand planet where Elder Krell lived. The humans did not attack the military bases. They did not attack the civilian cities. They focused on the system. One small human ship quietly reached Krell's planet. It used a simple missile, but with a special powerful burst of electromagnetic force. The missile did not make a big explosion, but it hit the planet's main power grid and the biggest communication center. On Krell's home planet, all the lights went out. The screens went dark. The ability to talk to the Grand Fleet was gone. Then, one by one, the other small human ships hit the homeworlds of the other major council members. It was a surgical strike. It was not about killing soldiers. It was about killing command. Elder Krell was in his high tower on his planet when the darkness came. The 1,000-year-old light of his city suddenly went out. His massive, complex systems, which had never failed, all went silent. He looked out the window at the Black City. He felt the cold fear grip him. His Grand Fleet was still moving towards Earth, ready to fight, but it was now a headless snake. It had no one to give it orders. It had no home to defend. Krell finally understood. He looked at the deep black sky. The mistake. The mistake was not the vote, he whispered. The mistake was thinking we were the only ones who knew how to play a game of power. The humans had not fought a battle. They had won a political war. News travels, even without the Council's systems. The Grand Fleet, far from home, started to hear the rumors. The homeworlds are dark. Krell is silent. Fear and chaos spread through the fleet. The different alien groups on the ship started fighting among themselves. Should we keep going? Who is in charge? What are we fighting for? The mighty Grand Fleet did not reach the Sol system. It broke apart. It turned around. Many ships ran away to their own home systems. Many more simply surrendered to the nearest neutral force. The humans did not chase them. They did not cheer. They had proved their point. The fighting was over because the enemy's system had collapsed. A few hours later, the Grand Fleet was gone. Earth was safe. Ambassador Lin appeared on the galaxy-wide communication channels one last time. He did not look happy, but he looked completely in control. The Galaxy Council has voted against Earth, he announced. Earth has now voted against the Galaxy Council. The Council is dissolved. It is gone. His message was simple and final. We are not your enemy. We will be partners. But if you ever try to control, to command, or to vote against us again, the lesson will be much worse. These are the new rules. He paused, looked straight into the camera, and finished his address with his quiet, cold smile. Welcome to the new galaxy. Back on Earth, Commander Anya watched the Grand Fleet's location fade from her map. She looked at her crew. They had won. But their win was not a celebration. It was a new, heavy beginning. The galaxy would no longer look at humanity with arrogance. It would look at them with a deep, silent fear. Humanity had just proved that they were not just a problem, but the most creative and most dangerous force in the universe. They had won by bending the rules, by using their trash, and by striking at the very heart of the enemy's power. The great silence in the Sol system was no longer a sign of weakness. It was a sign of great, terrible strength. What do you think is the biggest mistake the aliens made? Was it underestimating the humans' low-tech weapons, or was it thinking they could control the war? Tell me in the comments below. I read every single comment. If you loved this complete story, please like this video right now and subscribe for more amazing, unexpected HFY Sci-Fi stories coming soon. Thank you for watching. The final mistake was the vote.